The TV1 News is proudly brought to you by
BSP, our bank, our people.
Hello and welcome to TVWAN News. I'm Jasmine.
And I'm Terry. I'll be back with sports later on.
In this edition, first ever business forum held, incident investigation underway, and Japan says every game counts. The first ever business forum between Indonesia and Papua New Guinea took place yesterday during the one-day bilateral meeting held at the APEC House in Port Moresby. The forum held in the spirit of shifting focus of formal talks between Indonesia and Papua New Guinea from border talks to relations of trade, business and people.
President of the Papua New Guinea Chamber of Commerce, Ian Tarutier, when speaking at the first Indonesia and Papua New Guinea Business Forum, said the relationship between Indonesia and Papua New Guinea is logically and practically important, making reference to shared land borders. He encouraged businesses at the forum to use the opportunity to network. He says after yesterday, dialogue will continue to ensure the entity of the Indonesia PNG Business Council is established. Chairman of the Indonesia Chamber of Commerce and Industry also addressed the forum.
At the business level, we've had a formal relationship with our sister organization, the Indonesia Chamber of Commerce and Industry, or CADAN, commencing in June of 2013 and extending for another 3 years since March of 2022 by way of a MOU, or a Memorandum of Understanding. This MOU essentially promotes the collaborative partnership in commerce and trade between our two countries. It covers trade and investment activities, market access, capacity building of SMEs, and promotion of cross-border flows without unnecessary restrictions.
Relationship between Indonesia and Papua New Guinea just a step away from each other. It's very important. Guardian Indonesia, as mentioned by Ian, has signed MOU with PNG CCI since June 2013, long way ago, and extended in March 2022, last year, to increase business relationship between Indonesia and PNG.
Present also at the event, Minister Richard Marus spoke on the unfortunate circumstance that PNG and Indonesia have no proper trade relationship, expressing that as one of PNG's closest neighbors, a trade relationship is overdue.
Our government will start a 6-month study on the viability of establishing a free trade agreement with Indonesia. We are also going to look at our border trading facilities at Port Putum and in the Western Province, and look at how we can ramp up. Because Indonesia has already built world-class facilities in both locations in PNG. We have to step up this our game and come up with the facilities so we can trade with Indonesia in a more serious way.
Minister Maru said PNG has the opportunity to take this relationship to the next level, saying the government is committed. Mary Silla Kelleton, TV1 News.
Furthermore, Prime Minister Marape and President Widodo at the forum expressed similar sentiments of strengthening country relations through business activities, endeavors bound to grow both economies, not just for their respective people, but regionally as well.
Marape has predicted that Indonesia in the next 20 years will be in the top 5 economies of the world. He encouraged that PNG must see the value of the relationship fostered with Indonesia. Marape made these remarks at the first ever business forum between Indonesia and PNG.
You and us have shared time immemorial in past. We are here today at present, but more importantly, we are collectively securing the future of both people, the Indonesian people and the Papua New Guinea people, going forward into the future.
President of Indonesia Joko Widodo acknowledged PNG as a close friend to Indonesia and a strategic partner as well, stating that both countries are economic giants, PNG in the Pacific and Indonesia in Southeast Asia.
Marape and I want this close relationship to also be marked by economic cooperation, which is essential for both countries. If these two potential merge, of course, it will have a very big impact, not just for the people of both countries, but also for the region.
Widodo says he will continue to push for the discussion on Indonesia and PNG trade agreements. This will require infrastructure and connectivity, avenues that President Widodo says Indonesia is ready to support, making reference to Go PNG's Connect PNG program. Maricela Kelleton, TVWAN News.
Prime Minister James Marape has extended his heartfelt appreciation to Indonesian President Joko Widodo for his immensely successful one-day visit to Papua New Guinea yesterday. The visit resulted in several significant accomplishments and outcomes.
Reflecting on the visit as President Widodo departed Port Moresby on Wednesday evening, Prime Minister James Marape expressed his jubilation and commendation for the fruitful discussions and achievements reached during their high-level engagement.
Recently established a joint ministerial commission and to supervise relevant working groups on matters of importance for both nations. I want to announce to our people and people of Indonesia and to observers, since last year, important milestone achievements has been reached. We've ratified, there was a ratification on 15th of June 2023 of the PNG Indonesia Visa Waiver Agreement so that diplomatic and official passport holders can move freely between both nations. That was signed on 15th of March 2023.
He further emphasized the significance of President Widodo's monumental visit, which focused not only on government-to-government matters, but also on the core objectives of Marape's Pangu Party, fostering economic growth and enhancing commerce and trade relations.
We are also working to ratify PNG Indonesia Defence Cooperation, and this is work in progress. We hope to bring to Parliament at the very earliest. There's a consultation on visa on arrival for Papua New Guinea and Indonesian travelers for ordinary passports.
To facilitate this collaboration at the highest level, Prime Minister Marape announced the establishment of a task force led by Deputy Prime Minister John Rosso and International Trade and Investment Minister Richard Maru in partnership with the Indonesian counterparts. Freddie Mo, TVWAN News.
Prime Minister James Marape have further expressed his gratitude to President Widodo for his visit and the positive outcomes achieved. One of the notable achievements of the visit was the agreement for Indonesia to sponsor 2,000 Papua New Guinean students to pursue higher education in Indonesian colleges and universities.
Papua New Guinea has had friendly and cordial relations with Indonesia for over 3 decades since the two countries formalized diplomatic relationship on September 16, 1975. Relations between Papua New Guinea and Indonesia have expanded as well as strengthened over the years. On Wednesday, President of Indonesia Joko Widodo had bilateral meet with Prime Minister James Marape. One of the notable achievements of the visit was the agreement for Indonesia to sponsor 2,000 Papua New Guinean students to pursue higher education in Indonesia, colleges and universities. Marape highlighted the reciprocity of the arrangement, stating that for every student Indonesian sponsors, the government will match their support by sponsoring another student from Papua New Guinea. He added that the partnership between the two countries aimed to foster increased business-to-business and people-to-people relations between our nations.
The Indonesian government has offered scholarship for Papua New Guinean students to go and study, and Papua New Guinea government will match for every space given. We'll match with student that we will sponsor to go into colleges and universities to help us send many of our students who've left grade 12 doing nothing, we'll send into schools on the other side.
Recognizing Indonesia's standing as an economic powerhouse in terms of commerce and trade, Prime Minister Marape expressed the commitment of Papua New Guinea to work closely with Indonesia on trade protocols and border-related issues, with the third goal of elevating their bilateral relationship to new heights.
We're not just talking about government to government. These conversations meant for business, and Mr. President has opened up his market for our producers to go there. He's informed me that we must produce and ensure our livestock go to Indonesia, our oil palms go to Indonesia, our producers go to Indonesia. Likewise, a major part of our conversation today was for our business-to-business engagements to grow.
The leaders also discussed the agreement on the implementation of visa exemptions for diplomatic and official passport holders and the basic agreement on border arrangements, including others. Freddie Mo, TVWAN News.
Representatives from faith-based development organizations recently gathered at the Church Partnership Forum in Port Moresby to discuss rethinking development in Papua New Guinea through theological principles and effective governance. The two-day event brought together participants from 7 mainline churches, PNG government officials, the private sector, civil society and the international community. Discussions focused on collaboration, advocacy, community empowerment, and improved service delivery. The forum highlighted the vital role of church networks in supporting remote and disadvantaged communities in PNG. Australia sponsored the event as part of its continued engagement and support to the churches. You're watching TV1 News. After the break, UPNG debate sponsorship and DAL officers dispatched.
There's a sense of pride when you're able to do something right, a financial decision that has just really good benefits. With BSP Life Insurance, there's that alleviation of that worry when you pass away. The benefits of the BSP Life Insurance would meet those expenses on behalf of my family. If you're young and you have kids, you owe it to your children to make sure they're not left behind when you pass on.
With you for life.
Enjoy life when we work together, making happy memories that last forever. Hot in talk, young or old, let's calories, family meal with home. We'll bring out the smiles, cause it's our favorite of mine. Tennessee cola, scare rice, long scares, air price. Tennessee cola, scare rice, long scares, air price. Amber, you like it?
Hiya, Mama. You wait time, but me add him special flavor.
Put in more flavor, put in more taste. Add your kakaro, get up and big smile on face. Time for kim chicken, a great fumu too. Sip, sip, the mumu, yes, magic on you.
Maggi, the taste PNG loves. Papua New Guinea.
We love a reason for a family gathering. A reason to play. A reason to ignite the flame. A reason to cook the best with the best. Flame oil, now PNG made for PNG cooking. Flame oil, when it tastes.
The Toyota JD Hiace bus comes in 14 and 15-seater high-roof luxury model powered by 2.8 liters JD engine for optimal performance output, fuel efficiency and quietness, designed with improved safety features and easy maneuverability for tire steering angle. The Hiace lift suspension and annular frame structure is opted for smooth ride, comfort and safety. Experience the ride on the Hiace bus and experience the Hiace pride, the bus that exceeds all expectations.
Welcome back. Advised by the Defense Minister to provide more details on the incident, Chief of the PNG Defense Force Major General Mark Goina stated in a media conference on Wednesday, July the 5th, that he will tell all that he knows, but encouraged to remain mindful that an investigation is underway which he will not compromise in any way. Major General Goina revealed the names of the two deceased. PNGDF personnel, however, withheld the names of the injured to respect their privacy.
Chief of the PNG Defence Force Major General Mark Goina has conveyed his deepest condolences and that of all the men and women of the PNG Defence Force to the families and friends of the recently deceased as a result of a training incident that occurred on July 4th at Kupiano, Central Province.
Their death is a tragic loss to all. Those who were injured are our highest priority of support and will remain so as we support their speedy recovery. The names of the deceased are Leading Seaman Eric Wale of Morebe and New Holland descent, employed at HMPNG's Tarangao on Manus, and Corporal Watata to the gang from Enga, employed as instructor at Goldie River Training Depot.
Outlining the context of the incident, Commander Goina said this was a tragic accident. Those who were killed were not killed in action, rather as a result of a tragic accident, just as those who were injured were not wounded in action. Rather, it was a result of the same tragic incident. Major General Goina says it is the circumstances of this and respective responsibilities that is now being investigated.
The deceased and one of the injured were on the final assessed exercise for a corporal qualifying course. The other injured person was a civilian, not involved in the exercise. There were 45 students on the course. The deceased and other members of the course deployed to Kupiano on the 24th of June, and it was during the final activity on the 4th of July that the incident occurred. On such exercises, blank rounds only are used. Some live rounds, however, are often issued to nominated personnel in the group for safety and security. There are strict protocols around this as to who gets them and out their money.
Major General Goyna stated that at this time, the information revealed is all he is prepared to say on the incident. The specifics of what occurred and the actions of all those involved will be detailed in the investigation report. Maricela Kelleton, TVWAN News.
Furthermore, Major General Goyna stated that the PNGDF is conducting its own investigation into the incident at Kupiano Central Province.
PNG Defence Force Chief Major General Mark Goyna says their investigation is being conducted separately, but in concert with a police investigation. He says the PNGDF are cooperating fully with the police and their investigation.
The first members of our investigation team were on site yesterday afternoon. The team comprises very experienced and senior members of the PNGDF, those who have thorough understanding of our training, legal, medical, ammunition management, and supply system.
The commander says the terms of reference require them to investigate every aspect of the incident, the immediate lead up to and aftermath, in order to understand how such a tragic incident occurred.
The team have been given 14 days to do this, at which point their findings will be forwarded to me via the Deputy Chief of Defence Force.
Subsequent to dealing with the investigation outcomes, Commander Goyna says he will convene a board of inquiry to consider the wider context in which this incident occurred and whether there were systemic failures that might have contributed to it. Goyna stated that the PNGDF is involved in the security of PNG sovereignty and support the police. Their business, by its very nature, is dangerous, where the risk of injury or death, particularly on operations, is always present.
For this reason, we have very well developed protocols, training techniques and procedures, which we follow to both minimize and mitigate risk in both training and on operations. Safety and duty or care are the #1 priority for every leader in the force. When we fail at this, it is incumbent on us to look closely at all that occurred and what changes or improvements should be made. It is my intent the Board of Inquiry be led by an eminent former member of the PNGDF and again include relevant subject matter experts.
Major General Goyna says he will provide more details on this matter in due course. Maricela Kelleton, TVWAN News.
The Department of Information and Communication Science is into the final phase of the Media Development Policy survey after a month. The final phase is the regional in-person interviews. The survey is with regional in-person interviews as the final leg of the feedback collating process. Since the 28th to the 30th of June, the DICT team conducted interviews in 4 provinces from each of the regions of PNG. The selected towns were Alotau, Mount Hagen, Madang, and the Autonomous Region of Bougainville. The survey involved gathering feedback from the public in different demographics and collate their perspectives in enhancing the media development policy for the overall improvement of the sector. In Alotau, the survey was conducted at the main market. The team engaged with the local community, answering questions relating to the proposed policy and providing an opportunity for individuals to voice their opinions. A team from the Land Commission of Papua New Guinea is currently in Lae to host a 3-day validation workshop on its corporate plan 2023 to 2027. Due to flight delays, the workshop started at 1:30 p.m. Wednesday at the Lae International Hotel. The Land Commission of Papua New Guinea is a merger of the Land Titles Commission and the National Land Commission. Acting Chief Commissioner Molian Kilapak, his deputy Ruth Gelu, and their team from the Department of Justice and Attorney General arrived in Lae on Wednesday to host a 3-day corporate plan validation workshop. The first session that afternoon was attended by provincial administrators from Central and Southern Highlands, representatives from the Morobe Provincial Administration, and Butiban Progress, Inc. The acting chief commissioner gave a brief background of the revenue-generating entity, the Land Commission of PNG, which was created following the passing of the Land Commission Act 2022 on September the 2nd last year. The current act has repealed the Land Titles Commission Act 1962 and the National Land Registration Act 1977. The Land Commission will now perform all the roles, functions, and responsibilities of the Land Titles Commission and the National Land Commission. Kilepak outlined that the formulation of a corporate plan is one of two requirements for an entity to be independent and separate. The other is the need for a separate law.
Contribute positively laws the workshop na we finalizing na we ensure mo sa minister primikan launch this la corporate plan hay mo big plan mark when you know what that we problem na ko sa mark plan na now kita putin na lo try masination ground big plan sa ground or office or staff with companies supply staff sa working mo corrupt deals na wala is the corporate plan and crime addressing all this life. So providing more avenues for me black and discipline more man, crossing more man, repair more police, small staff camp, providing more housing more.
Minister for Justice and Attorney General Pila Niningi was not able to make the trip to Leh because of the visit of the Indonesian president to Port Moresby. Speaking in his stead was First Secretary Thelma Kavanamur.
In Papua New Guinea, we are the land. The land is us. So, in looking at what we want to establish in this nation, a very young nation, looking at sovereignty, looking at independence, looking at democracy, looking at where we're going to go as a nation, 95% or so of our land is customary land.
Kavanamur said the Land Commission is an initiative undertaken by the Marperoso government to see that the Land Commission Act 2022 is commenced and the entity is in operation. The corporate plan validation workshop will end on Friday, July the 7th. New business support grants for small and medium-sized enterprises in Papua New Guinea are now available. This follows today's business support grant launch in Leh by Business Link Pacific.
Business Link Pacific is a private sector development program developed by DT Global and funded by the New Zealand Ministry of Foreign Affairs and Trade. In partnership with the Centre for Excellence in Financial Inclusion and the Leh Chamber of Commerce, business support grants for small to medium enterprises in Papua New Guinea will launch today at the Leh International Hotel. The business support grants are designed to stimulate SME growth, innovation, access to finance, and investment in social inclusion and climate action.
The heart and soul of BRP is the advisory services. It's linking small and medium enterprises to have access to professional help. For example, financial management, HR, marketing and publicity. There are so many different areas or gaps where SMEs left, and so the idea is BRP provides a one-stop shop in our BRP website, the online portal, where we have, I think it's 40 plus service providers approved.
ISO said the advisory phase for Business Link Pacific has been operating in PNG for 5 years now, while the second phase, the grants, were just launched today. The grants are donor funds provided to small to medium enterprises that meet the criteria of at least one of the following 5 categories of innovation, growth, inclusion, climate, and finance. To apply, businesses must submit a proposal that outlines the project they are proposing to undertake, the expected outcomes of the project, and the financial resources they are seeking. Business Link Pacific is encouraging application from women, youth, indigenous entrepreneurs, and community-led businesses. Guidelines and full criteria can be accessed on their website. Craig Caviago, TVWAN News.
And now the finance news. The kina closed unchanged at $0.2800 US in the interbank market. At Bank South Pacific, our kina was buying $0.2725 US, 0.4066 Australian dollars, 0.2434 euro, and 39.02 Japanese yen. Looking at commodity prices at New York close, all closed lower, except palm oil and crude oil closed higher. And on the stock market, the Dow Jones closed lower, ASX closed lower, and all ordinaries closed lower as well. This is TVWAN News. We'll have news from around the region when we return. Stay with us.
It was during and after COVID that really motivated me to want to take up life insurance. I think savings is very important, and I think One Talk Delight provides a disciplined approach to savings, and it's a good investment to want to think about the future, because it's always nice to have plans for what you want to do later on.
With you for life. He loves the Maroons. He loves the Blues. But there's one thing that brings everyone together. SB Laga, Bungim Yumi.
Right across the nation, we eat snacks crackers. Emi trubla. All get a young planalapun, only like him snacks crackers. Only make him here, no PNG, one time lay biscuit company. It's crunchy and tasty. It's irresistible.
From the rich soils of the highlands, the finest coffee has been grown by generations of Papua New Guineans. Expertly blended and roasted with over 80 years of experience, making the finest cup of Nescafe New Guinea blend. PNG's own coffee.
Inside, right, 6 more, and they will score. And we're underway. QRL host plus cap, right wheeling action.
He's got Alex on the inside.
Here's Pentecost, the flick fuzz, who's gone over. Ripple from Birmingham.
Low ball, critical. Kellen Ward, the old dog, still got plenty of tricks. Green gets up here from right on 50. Brilliant finish. Welcome to the Hawks, Fergus. 7th Wimbledon title.
Champion in the making.
And we're back. The PNG Chambers of Mines and Petroleum announced the Extractive Industries Emergency Response Challenge that will make a return in 2024. After a 4-year gap, the industry event is back again and was announced by the recent Health, Safety and Environment Networking event organized by the Chamber from the Councillor and Newcrest Mining Lihir Country Manager, Sanli Koman. He said that the Chamber is pleased to confirm that the 2024 EIERC will be hosted in Port Moresby in the first quarter of 2024 and will comprise of 8 activities, which include a theory exam and 7 various physical emergency rescue activities on land, air and sea, with Maritime Challenge making a comeback after it was last included in 2017. A working committee has been formed and has commenced preparations for this event, which will be a highlight on the industry calendar. Details of the 2024 EIERC will be announced by the Chamber in the coming weeks. Prime Minister James Marape has today strongly condemned the violence and looting that occurred at Koki early Monday morning. He said the incident has prompted the government in stepping up on identification-based residency in all major urban centers, starting in Port Moresby and Lae.
Prime Minister James Marape has issued instructions to police to arrest those involved at the recent Koki violence and to prevent and eliminate these acts of lawlessness going forward. He said the government will also be stepping up on identification-based living in our major urban centers. He mentioned that the government will soon demand for an ID from all our residents in the city. Priority will be Port Moresby and Lae. This will stop the increasing number of people squandering illegally in an area. Marape added that settlements that continue to cause problems in our cities will be relocated, including those from any unplanned settlements. He said Badili and 2 Mile areas will be the first to be relocated and appealed to all leaders in the settlements to abide by the laws. Freddie Moe, TVWAN News.
The Intercontinental Music Awards has announced its list of finalists, and among them is PNG's very own reggae sensation Anslom. The prestigious ICMA, based in Los Angeles, recognizes the achievements of the most successful artists from all continents and various music genres. Anslom has secured final spots in the esteemed awards with his 2 hit songs, Love Me Again and Keep Hurting. The judging panel consists of renowned Hollywood music executives and industry professionals who have worked with globally recognized singers such as Celine Dion, Ricky Martin, Nelly Furtado, and many Grammy-nominated artists. Winners of the awards receive valuable educational opportunities, prizes, and high-quality direct coaching, helping them navigate the music industry and achieve success. Bhutan is widely known as the happiest nation on earth, but it's facing an exodus of young people leaving for countries abroad, including Australia. The brain drain has led to pressure on the tiny kingdom's government to open up to development and provide more economic opportunity.
In the Himalayas, Bhutan is one of the world's most isolated countries. The rugged terrain makes landing a plane here difficult, and tourist numbers are tightly controlled. This tiny kingdom is protective of its culture, but struggling to develop.
This combination of a least developed country, not having 21st century industries, not able to meet the expectations of the educated youth, is the dilemma that we are going through.
We're speaking to people on the ground to find out why, despite all of this natural beauty in this country, there are so many young people leaving to go to countries like Australia.
In the past year, Bhutan lost 1.4% of its population to Australia. Kile Funsu is one of those trying to make the same journey.
People are leaving is because they don't think that they have the ability or the opportunity to live a satisfied, content life in Bhutan, and they feel that they need to be abroad to get that.
The country of just 780,000 is now facing a brain drain. There are not enough doctors or public servants, and young people feel uncertain about the future.
I've gotten to calling it this heavy miasma around Bhutan, where we don't know what's going to happen. This unpredictable air is there, and it doesn't feel good.
The situation is placing pressure on Bhutan's government to open up and work with neighbouring China, despite concerns from countries like India and Australia.
I don't think there's a choice. We have to do whatever we can, whatever we have to create the job that is up to the expectation of the growing youth.
While many Bhutanese don't want to leave, they're hungry for opportunities. That would make their home a happy one for the next generation.
And now the weather forecast for the next 24 hours. Back home, regional forecast for the next 24 hours. Southern region, isolated showers and thunderstorms scattered over Western and Milne Bay province. Momase and New Guinea Islands region, scattered showers and isolated thunderstorms with areas of rain. Highlands region, scattered showers and isolated thunderstorms with areas of rain, then scattered morning fog. And that ends the news segment. We'll have sports with Terry next. Stay with us.
It's in the highs and in the lows. It's in the big things and the small things too. It's hard to put into words, but you'll know it when you see it. Terrain Tamer, when quality counts.
Without a doubt, you care for your loved ones. You want to keep them safe, whoever they may be with, wherever they may be, in the home or facing the world outside. Don't let anything stop you, not even bacteria. Protex helps protect your skin with natural extracts. Boosted with flaxseed oil, Protex helps eliminate 99.9% of bacteria for healthy skin. And with the power of natural goodness, you're ready to play every day. Protex, for the good health of your skin.
Hey, Rugby League fanatics! Want to watch the State of Origin game for you live in Sydney? Buy a new postpaid TV kit today for only 199 kina plus a plan for as low as 85 kina monthly with equivalent deposit and go into a draw to win. So what are you waiting for? Visit our Digicel HQ shop at Gordon's on weekdays between 8 a.m. and 4 p.m. or dial 1515 to speak to a TV agent to get your postpaid TV plan today. Digicel TV. More channels, more choice, more value.
Hi everyone, I'm B-Lit. Are you ready for the ultimate learning experience with the all-new B-Lit block? Join me for educational content from Da Vinci Kids to ABC Education and our very own shows, Numbers World, Youth Talk, and Fun Maths and Science. Come with me on a fun and exciting journey of learning. I've got something for everyone from elementary to high schoolers. So get ready to be lit with a whole new world of opportunities. July 17th on TVWAN from 9 a.m. to 12 p.m. See you on the block.
while it's disappointing they've lost the series, there's still a job to be done and a legacy to uphold.
Number 5, Reds coming together here. A huge collision. And here goes the Fox. Well, the Lions is a snap pressure. Crichton scores. One for the line. Puts it on the clock. That's to win the try.
And thank you for staying with us. As the QRL Host Plus Cup approaches the business end of the season, the PNG Hunters are quietly confident of their opportunity to play finals football. This Saturday, PNG Hunters host their return match against second-place Burleigh Bears at the Santos National Football Stadium in round 17 of the Host Plus Cup. Hunters lost to Bears 46-22 back in round 6. With 5 games left in the regular season, and an uphill battle lies before the PNG Hunters to force their way back into the top 8 calculations. However, the Hunters will once again look to defy the odds when they host the ladder-leading Burleigh Bears on Saturday afternoon. The Hunters are no strangers to the underdog tag, having faced and overcome some of the more fancied opponents in recent weeks. Against the Twin Heads in round 12, the Sunshine Coast Falcons in round 15, and the Central Queensland Capras last week, the Hunters rose to the occasion and claimed the 2 points on offer despite the lofty ladder position of their opponents. However, with a bye coming up next week, PNG Hunters coach Stanley Teppen finds himself in a must-win situation, not only to revenge their round 6 loss, but importantly, to keep their final hopes alive.
No, we've learned our lesson. I think last time we played them down at Burleigh, they were pretty quick. They started off really quick, sort of caught us off guard there, and they play a quick brand of football. So, there's a reason why they're leading the comp. So we've got a lot of respect for them. The only thing that we'll use our home game to our advantage. We've just been concentrating on us. I think they're a relatively tall side, so they'll be obviously. The kicking game will be important on their side, so we've spoken about that, and we've just worked on our defense. Our defense has been good relatively well in the last couple of rounds, but yeah, like you said, this week is a not new challenge, it's a new game.
Teppen said the Bears have a mobile pack with speed out wide, which caught the Hunters off guard the last time they met in round 6.
We beat the Falcons and they ended up beating the Bears, so you can see that in this competition, anyone on their day can pull an upset, can pull a win. So that's how the competition is. I think around where we're sitting on the ladder, and 2 or 3 teams ahead of us and below us, it's pretty congested. So the context of this game is very important. We just have to turn up on Saturday and play the best game we can possibly play here.
Teppen said after the Bears game, Hunters will have an extended 2 weeks bye, which is not ideal, but will use the experience from their last 2 byes to keep the boys focused mentally and stay fit and healthy before they play East Tigers in Brisbane on July 30.
Last time we had that at the beginning of the year, the 2 byes really shocked us and we didn't really regroup well. I think we started off with a big loss down in Cairns, I think, coming off the loss. So we've learned from that, and we'll do things a bit different in those 2 weeks off, and hopefully keep the boys' minds steady, but give them time off where needed, but not an extended time off. I think we'll learn from before and do it a bit better.
After recording tough back-to-back wins, both home and away, over the past 2 weeks, the PNG Hunters have had a relatively light run early this week. PNG Hunters coach Stanley Teppen said although Hunters' form of late has been stable, they won't be taking top team Burleigh Bears lightly this weekend. Teppen said Hunters' training has been focused on effort areas in their game and maintaining stability in their playing structure, especially their attack and defense. Teppen also revealed a number of crucial changes to the team's lineup due to injury, which will see Hunters' wrecking ball Junior Rob out and Casey Dixon back in from suspension.
The boys have been really good, especially coming off last two Last 2 good wins, one down at Sunshine Coast and then the recent one here. So it was a tough game, the last one against the Capras. So we've had a light week. It's a tough game coming up, so it's just about resting the boys. They were pretty sore after the game. So we've just been, this is our only big day of training. No major changes. I think one forced change, Junior Rob. He's ruled out with the HIA, so he's got a mandatory 13 days, I think it is. So hopefully he'll be back for the next game. So that's the only change. We've got a number of options to cover his position. Big Tommy Moide, he was ruled out last week with a knee issue. Casey Dixon comes back with his suspension, so and there's a couple of options there, so we'll look at that.
Kumul winger and PNG Hunters robust centre 3-quarter Roderick Tai is pinching himself how lucky he is being part of the NRL club Dolphin systems for the past 2 months under super coach Wayne Bennett. Tai has continued his impressive run at the QRL Host Plus Cup level for the Hunters. He said his short stint with the Dolphins has been invaluable. 24-year-old Western Highlander Roderick Tai, who has been in the mix with the Wayne Bennett Dolphins, has helped Highlands' development and progress as a professional footballer. Tai admitted in his short train and trial contract with Dolphins he's learnt a lot, especially new things about being a professional footballer and the commitment and hard work that goes with it. Tai said the Dolphins' culture is so good and the boys are so welcoming and willing to offer any assistance whenever they can.
They've been good, and like the level days up there, because it's like professional rugby league competition and all that. But yeah, all the players there, they're like good boys. The culture is good. They're hardworking players too. I'm finding it like interesting, and it's good to learn new stuff. I think probably in the technical side of the game, I think, yeah. Like there's a lot of small things that we need to learn and all that. Up there they're more focused on that, so I think I've learned a lot of stuff in and around the technical side of the game.
He said it was a challenge for him and Moria traveling back and forth every week for games, but adjusted well.
I normally, like after the game, go there, train there, stay with the boys, and then during the end of the week come back and do captain's run with the Hunters boys and then play on the weekend. So like during away games or home games, like games here, I normally travel here. It's a bit hard at first, but then it's kind of like when I'm like getting used to it, it was okay. So yeah, it's all good.
With the PNG Hunters playing Burleigh Bears at home in round 17 this weekend, Tai said the boys are looking forward to give Bears a good challenge to avenge their 46-22 loss on the Gold Coast back in round 6. He has also been impressed with the team spirit and how the boys are sticking together as a strong group.
I think we played them earlier in the season. I think we lost terribly to them, and so we're just looking forward to play them again, and the opportunity has come. So yeah, I think all the boys are looking forward to play that game.
Dan Russell will become one of the oldest debutants of the NRL era this weekend, with the PNG International set to get its first taste of the top grade for the Dragons. The 27-year-old was the veteran of the QRL Cup competition, moving to St George, Illawarra this season, and has played 16 games for the club's reserve grade side. Russell will come off the bench for the Red V in their upcoming round 19 clash with the Canberra Raiders after impressing interim coach Ryan Carr in recent weeks. Russell is an Australian-born second rower who grew up in Queensland but is of PNG descent, has played 4 international games for PNG since making his debut in 2019.
Yep, grew up in Emerald, so central Queensland. So I played all my juniors there, then moved to Rocky, finished my school and footy there, then got a deal with the Broncos and played the 20s with the Broncos. Played a bit of Q Cup, then went to Townsville for a couple of years, and then since then just been in Brisbane, and yeah, now down here. So got it through Shane Flanagan, yeah. So he organised a train trial through that mid-year test. He helped us out that PNG, the PNG squad. So yeah, I got it off him, and yeah, I've loved every bit of it.
PNG Football Association President John Capinato announced Gordon Manub as the new General Secretary of PNGFA on Tuesday. A media conference was held by PNGFA to make this announcement. The appointment of Gordon Manub to the post following successful interviews and screening processes. The position has been under Ben Kakaraya for the past 6 months after Pius Letenge left for medical reasons. Manub was given the nod ahead of 6 other candidates, a reward for his passion and contribution to football in the country. PNG Football Association President John Capinato said Manub was a good fit for the position. His passion and drive for football over the past few years has been great.
We see that our national teams are not doing well. What's the problem? So that all comes under his department, his office now, to ensure that the development of coaching and the technical must work and deliver. So he's got a lot of things on his shoulder now that's passed on from him to him. So I think he's passionate, Mr. Manab, and I think he'll get the horns head on.
When accepting the role, Manub expressed his gratitude to PNGFA for having confidence in him.
Position as a privilege and honor, and I'm very humbled to be able to be given this opportunity to take on from where the past acting General Secretary has started to lay the foundation for leading PNG into the future, especially in terms of football.
Manub said he applied for a similar position in PNGFA 2 years ago and was unsuccessful, and this did not deter him. He again applied for the position because he's passionate about football and wants to see the sport succeed at all levels. And that's our sports segment for now. Cheers.
Thanks, Terry. That ends the news tonight. Pleasant viewing. Bye for now.
Bye.
The TVWAN News was proudly brought to you by BSP, our bank, our people.